Peace, y'all. So I ain't gonna hold y'all too long because I got stuff on the stove, but I did want to do the mathematics for today. Today is 11/27/9. Today we are mastering our wisdom and our inner God. So two we know deals with Chokmah wisdom. We've been in this two for the last 7 days now. We be in our twos at least for 10 days every month. So we know this is all about Chokmah, finding balance, harmony, justice, being in our truth, right? At this point. And today we are trying to find that balance, harmony, and being in our truth on our sevens. Seven is considered God in supreme mathematics, as seven deals with Venus. This is the energy of Netzach. This is our ability to love and our ability to create. And when we're in that love energy and when we're in that creation energy, that is when we're closest to God. All right, those are the two main components of God, loving and creating, right? So that's what the seven is for us. Now, when we come into our wisdom of that seven, we're coming into that ability to say, okay, I know when I create these things, when I value these things, when I prioritize these things, when I design these things in my space, this is what I get in return. So we should be well practiced in that space. It should be fun here at this point, right? If it's not fun here, I don't know what y'all doing. But when we find that wisdom and that truth in that seven, then we come into the space of giving birth. Now we're giving birth to what we desire in our space. Nine deals with the celestial womb and the Sephiros and the Netarus. This is Cancer energy. Nine also deals with Sagittarius energy, which deals with the sacral chakra. So still in that space of giving birth, right? Giving birth to those things that we want in our space. Coming into a sense of completion and wholeness here too is also a key. So we're going to take that nine of what we gave birth to by being tapped into our heart chakra of 2 and 7. And when we do that, it brings us to wisdom in our cipher, to bringing us back to that, to it, bringing us back to that chokma, that expansion, that joy, that generosity. And this is wisdom from the oracle and the sages, more so like that little angel on the shoulder, you know what I'm saying, in the cartoons. And then when we have Bina on the other shoulder, you know. So that is how you look at that. Um, so with this wisdom in the cipher, we are in the year of 9. This year has been brought to us by wisdom in our cipher and wisdom in our power 2025. So we're going to take that 2, we're going to put it to the 9. It brings us 11. Today is a day of mastery. Today is a day of self-mastery, mastering self so well you become an inspiration and aspiration to other people around you. Today is also a day that can be brought into a 2. 11 can still come into 2. Balance, harmony, law, justice, truth, and righteousness. Being in your Maya. I talked about this heavy in the hump day reading last night. You guys can speak your truth. It's not about what you say. It's about how you choose to say it. And let that Venus and Mercury, sometimes you got to battle that Venus and Mercury a little bit because it'll bring thoughts to your head to be confrontational, to do all these things. And there's nothing wrong with being confrontational if that's how, you need to communicate in certain spaces. But when you are being in your dramatics, okay? Because that's Scorpius energy too. You know when you are being in your dramatics, all right? Queen Cece, I'm a Cancer with a life path 9. Okay, so Cancer energy has the 6 and the 9. So in your Cancer energy, well, when you say I'm a Cancer, you're basically saying you have a Cancer sun. So you have Cancer experiences. When you use the word I am, you want to use your rising sign and then use I have for literally everything else. So I am what your rising sign is because that's your energy. And then I have a Cancer sun. So you have Cancer experiences. And in those Cancer experiences, you are on the life path of 9, which is cool because Cancer experiences is supporting you that. That's the balance between the 6, what we harvest and manifest in the physical, and the 9, how we feel, what we give birth to and things like that. So you are mastering your ability to manifest celestial womb healing, locking in with Queen Afua and her divine womb healing and the things, people that specialize in those things, that will help you tremendously if you're not already on that path for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You have a lot of Cancer places. Yeah, that's definitely heavy on the nurturing, manifesting things in your space, being in wholeness and completion, knowing that you are enough, you the whole shebang, stuff like that. Thank you, Hamid. Happy Thursday. Thank you, Grape. But I am a Leo. I'm a Leo too, gang gang. I'm a Leo too. So, we know Leo energy. I'm so glad this is confirmation to start that book. Yeah, start that book, manifest that book. Bring that into your nine, your celestial womb. Um, so yeah, that today's a day of self mastery. You do yourself so well, you become an inspiration, aspiration to other people around you, being your truth, being your balance, finding that harmony, especially as we bring this third decade of the month, getting closer and closer to the weekend, bring this third decade into the month. So definitely work on your self mastery. So that's the mathematics for today. As far as the astrological report, we start the day off with a 40% waxing crescent moon. We're still in that moon of building intangible things, our mindset, our beliefs, our behaviors, our emotions, all these things that are not in the physical, right? Moon rising at 11:21 a.m. and setting at 10:18 p.m. We start the day off at a 22-degree Aquarius. We know that the moon moves 13 degrees in a day. So by the end of the day, we should be in Capricorn zodiac. But we are at that 22. 22 is the celestial architect, the master architect, building on things and being revolutionary in what you build for your home and family today. So, that talk around the table. We talked about the table last night too. The importance of the table. Shouts to Mama Hida for implanting that seed in my mind about the importance of the table. So when you guys are around that table, with those four legs and on that square, you guys are definitely going to be in that Fibonacci, y'all, to circle around the square. Go ahead and, have those revolutionary conversations about building. What do we want to do? What do we want to manifest as a collective? How are we going to give back to one another? Maybe start a susu as a family. Start putting your money together, get land, start growing your own food. I know grandma got some land, stop trying to sell it to people and start going towards like, well, how are we going to allow this land to benefit us as a collective, right? Such and such needs help with this, such and such needs help with that, such and such. So how can we help everybody all at once so it's not all on one family member or on a couple or, people feeling ostracized, left out, or feeling like they the gossip of the family because they need assistance. Have those heartwarming conversations. May that moon in Aquarius assist you guys in doing that, being in your masterful self in that space of building. Also, now while that's happening in our mindsets, we are still in Capricorn constellation starting the day. But as the day goes on, we do end up in Aquarius constellation. So no worries, you guys are still gonna have those revolutionary conversations. But we do start off the day in hold on. I think I started Aries with this. I believe it's the 22nd lunar mansion, but quote me on that. I'm not far enough yet. Yes, I promise. Next time I'm gonna have the tabs, y'all. I'm gonna get the tabs. I'm going to prioritize it. I just started doing other stuff. Like once I do all my lives and stuff that I do with y'all, I start going in mommy mode. I got a couple other things that I'm trying to get in order so I can take a breath. It's a whole thing. You guys know how that goes. I just kind of put everything down. All right, so we start off the day in the 23rd lunar mansion. This is the Dhanishta Nakshatra. This goes from 23 degrees Capricorn to 6 degrees Aquarius. It's influenced by Mars, which brings on the qualities of energy, action, courage, and assertiveness. So again, be mindful how you're communicating. Thank you, I appreciate that. Hey Ezekiel, how you doing, love? The symbol for this nakshatra is the drum, representing rhythm, music, and the power of sound. This nakshatra resonates with the vibration of the universe, making it a powerful force for spiritual and material prosperity. So again, while you guys are sitting at that round table, to circle around the square in y'all Fibonacci, manifest as a unit. Speak things into existence that y'all want. Go around the table and set your intentions. This is a heavy, like, spiritual day as well because, a lot of people go into being in their anger self, it makes sense. Being in this nakshatra that we're in, that brings that assertiveness. Because it's like, oh, you're celebrating the death of our people, da 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 da. This also can be transmuted energy of us like communicating through, our people that have gone on, our warriors, our witches, our chiefs, our priestesses, our priests, our medicine women, our medicine men, our tribes that have, you know, were born, married, fought, and died for us to be here and now. And what are we going to do with this energy while we're here? You know what I'm saying? So, having those conversations could definitely assist, transmute this energy of this space because it doesn't take away from the fact that we are in a high energy space. It doesn't take away from the fact that we're in a day of 11, self mastery, on a Thursday, ruled by Sagittarian energy in the month of mastery. It doesn't take away from any of those things. I'm not saying celebrate Thanksgiving because I do not celebrate that day. I'm saying every day is an opportunity to be in your magic, okay? So if you find yourself around your family and doing the things, be in that shit. You know what I'm saying? When the moon is in this nakshatra, what happens is, mm, what happens is restlessness, impulsiveness, and aggression. The moon in Dhanishta may bring out a strong emotion that needs an outlet, and individuals might struggle with maintaining emotional calmness. It's important for people with the moon here, if this is where your natal moon is, to manage their emotions carefully to avoid conflicts or rash decisions. Be mindful of your impatience, work on emotional independence, and that's very important, especially when you're having energy exchanges with somebody who is being rash, who is being very aggressive and things like that. um you know have that sense of emotional independence where it's like no matter how you behave, how you choose to act, it's not going to affect the energy that I'm putting out. Ashe? Okay. So the sunrise was at 6:46 a.m., setting at 4:48 p.m. We start the day off at a 5-degree Sagittarius, 5 being that space of empowerment, still in that Jabora Jadula energy of the celestial enforcer. This is the cardinal energy of Sagittarius constellation. Sagittarius zodiac. So this is happening in our mindset, these experiences of expansion, abundance, philanthropy, given to each other. What's happening in our actual physical reality is we're in a 10-degree Scorpio. We have made it to the fixed degree of the fixed water sign. Let go of some of them grudges, y'all. Just let them go. I know that this experience in 10-degree Scorpio is going to pull you to face them. Face them. Okay. And some of you guys, when you're facing them, you're like, yeah, confirm. No, face them so that you can allow the water to be cleansing. That's what water is for. Water is for cleansing. Okay, water, has all this memory and stuff in it, but it also could be cleansed, and you have the power to do that. Happy birthday, love. I don't sing though, but happy birthday. Um, I hope you enjoy your solar return. So yeah, enjoy these transformations, these empowering transformations. Scorpio also deals with secrets coming out as well too. So some people who have been holding grudges, maybe nudged a little bit to speak up. I got a grudge about this. I got a chip on my shoulder about that, and it's happening in our experiences. I'm telling you, this Fibonacci around the round table is going to be kind of crazy. The monocerotids begin today. Their max activity will be on December 9th. Then we don't get too many of those. They move about two an hour, but if you sit still long enough, you might catch one. They come from the Monoceros constellation, which is the unicorn constellation. So it brings like that whimsical, mystical kind of energy, kind of like the gift of the magi type of vibe. We love it here. I don't know how to say your name. I don't know how to pronounce it, love. Um, but Vesta and Cos Borealis are also in conjunction and in minimal angle today. Vesta is the asteroid that deals with our passion. Psychologically speaking, when you're engaging in the act of sex, there are certain neurons that go off in your brain. Very passionate neurons and connectivity and all these things, right? So Vesta basically is telling us what those same neurons go off when we're engaging in this activity, when the same activity that we will be in. So it invokes that same level of connectivity and passion. I keep saying the same thing over and over again. But Vesta is over there in Sagittarius energy. So people are feeling that sense of passion and being a philanthropist, giving to others, being optimism, being in your sacral chakra. In this space, please be mindful of overindulging obsessions and addictions because Vesta is in this energy. You want to be mindful of that. The Cause Borealis brings on ambition, pride, power, business, and justice. So for my business owners or people that like to support businesses, whatever it is that you're passionate about in the realms of business, economics, long-term planning, your sacral chakra and stuff like that, you may feel like a strong surge there, like, oh, I really want to engage in this activity, I really want to do this and do that, because Cause Borealis brings on your idealistic self, bringing on especially humane ideas and ideas that bring on mental stimulus. or mental health is also a thing here. Justice, strength, also flexibility and reasoning is heavy here too in our space of passion. So allow yourself to be passionate around that round table, around that square, sitting around that square. So I am going to read you guys the times for the day, and I'll see you guys out. Can I give you a shout out? I thought I just did. I just told you happy birthday. Can you do a shout out for me for my birthday, because I never got one? Is it Cineac 9940? Happy birthday, love. There you go. Did I say it right? Lord. um, so we start the day on the hour of Jupiter, right? It's okay. You know, it's his birthday. Happy birthday, love. Um, Jupiter is all about our sacral chakra, what brings us joy, what brings us expansion and abundance, what makes us happy, right? We're in our sacral chakra. We start the hours of Jupiter at midnight. Of course, we start the day on Jupiter. 7 a.m., 2 p.m., and 9 p.m. And we know that Jupiter is over there in Cancer on the tropical and Vedic chart. It's in that revolutionary energy of Aquarius. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Hey, Queen Cece. So being revolutionary in how you give back to other people. Everybody handing out turkeys. You can go hand out some steak. I don't know what to tell you. That was just the random idea that came up about. But be unique in how you help other people, you know? Like, I'm going to help y'all grow some food. I'm going to give y'all some plants. I'm going to give y'all some seeds. I'm going to give y'all a coat and some gloves. I don't know. You know, just, you know, being different in that space. Also in your long-term planning. You know, a lot of our long-term plans is in alignment with what we think the society expects from us as a man, as a woman, whatever race or nationality you identify as, whatever age group you're in, whatever area you're in, whatever culture you identify with. You kind of make your plans for yourself in alignment with that. Why don't you do something more so for yourself this time around in that Jupiter space with that long-term planning? Mars deals with our aggressive, assertive stuff, our solar plexus chakra, what gets us going. I like to use the Mars hours to work out, to burn off energy. My Mars is in Gemini, so I feel it the mostest around those times. But Mars hours are 1 a.m., 8 a.m., 3 p.m., and 10 p.m. Mars is over there in Sagittarius energy. It's at a 16 degree, so it's in the fixed energy of this mutable sign. 1 and 6 has knowledge of a sense of equality. What we put in is what we get out. All right. So what do you want to put into that sacral chakra energy? What do you want to put into your space of joy? What actions do you want to take with the wisdom that you have? You know, it's cool to be wise. It's cool to be like, I know this, I know that, but how are you acting on it? How are you implementing that in your space? And that's happening in the fourth house of home and family. So you already know what I'm about to say, right? That circle around the square table. Be on y'all Fibonacci's today. The sun's hours are 2 a.m., 9 a.m., 4 p.m., and 11 p.m. The sun is about vitality, energy, your experiences, paying attention to, you know, things you're experiencing. The sun is also in that Sagittarius, Scorpio energy. We talked about that a bit earlier, but also having experiences of giving back to other people, being in joy, being in creativity. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's really about. If you're not having fun, what are you doing? A lot of y'all be forcing yourselves to do stuff because somebody on YouTube said this is how you make a bunch of money, and you know this, that, and the third. Y'all be sucking the fun out of stuff that you used to find joy in too, because you're making everything about economics and things like that. We've come into a realm where like literally everything we do should be making us money, and if it's spending our money, we want somebody else to spend it. Like, you know, everything shouldn't have a price tag on it in that way. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to be revolutionary, I say be revolutionary in that. The sun is in Sagittarius in the third house. Third house deals with your community, communication, also siblings, cousins, grandparents, all that. So, you know, call a cousin today. Call a cousin today. Okay. Card fell out at me, so we're gonna use that one. Where we at? 1, 2, 3. Venus hours 3 a.m., 10 a.m., 5 p.m., and then midnight, because tomorrow's a Venusian day. So, of course, we start midnight on a Venus hour. Venus is all about being in your creative self, being in your inner artistic self, also your inner romance, you know, being your truth in the realms of how you feel and what you desire and what you want, how you're going to obtain and maintain these materials and these emotional connectivities, right? All right. So Venus is over there in Scorpio energy on the tropical and on the Vedic because yesterday Venus entered in the Scorpius constellation. And we love it here. You know, very empowering transformations happening to our heart chakra. It can be a little aggressive. It depends on where your natal Venus is in alignment with this Venus in Scorpio, especially if your Venus is in like Taurus or something, it might feel like a jolt. Um, but you know, Scorpio is fixed water. This is a good space to clear out some of the grudges that you have in your heart. Utilize that fixed water to be tough enough to cleanse what's going on in your heart rather than holding on to the grudges that Scorpius likes to do. You know what I'm saying? When you are facing your grudges, we're not facing our grudges to hold them. We're facing our grudges to cleanse them and let them go. Because when you walking around like this, you can't give, but you also can't receive. And it's important for us to receive in this room. That's how we make our connectivity. So be mindful of that. Empowerment here. Empowerment here definitely. You should feel empowered by what you deserve and what you desire. It should, you know, make you feel good about yourself. You know, Venus and Scorpio also deals with it's sexy time here too, you know, engage in that as well if you like to. Power couples on the forefront. Mercury ain't too far off in that power couple energy being close and Scorpius energy. But Mercury is in retrograde, so it's moving further and further away from Venus by the moment because Mercury is pretty fast. Mercury's hours are 4 a.m., 11 a.m., and then 6 p.m. We are in Mercury. Hours about community, communication. If you're a trader, getting into trading during this time, all that fun stuff. I gave you a little gist on Mercury being in retrograde, Scorpio energy, transformations, empowering transformations happening in our intellectual self, how we communicate, how we express ourselves, our moral and integral code, our routines, and how we are of service. And this is also happening in the third house of family, you know, community, cousins, relatives, in that retrospect, people you grew up with, stuff like that. So, you know, allow Mercury and Venus in that third house to have a great time. The sun is also in the third house too. So yeah, we got a lot of third house energy. It's all about the community right now. Lilith is also in the third house, that primordial energy. The black sheep showing up to the table today, y'all. It's getting spicy. I wanna be a fly in y'all kitchen. But yeah, all that the primordial energy is coming out too. You know, it's okay to be rebellious in these realms. Again, it's not about what you say; it's about how you say it. Y'all being y'all truth today, because that's how y'all gonna get shit done. That's how we're gonna break a lot of generational curses. That DNA that's floating in those fixed waters of Scorpius energy. If you want to unravel some of them DNA codes, you're gonna have to walk in your truth. You're gonna have to spill some secrets. You're gonna have to say some shit. It's just about how you go about doing it. Again, it's how you do it. The moon's hours are 5 a.m., 12 p.m., and 7. If you're on CST with me, we're about to enter the moon. We're in Mercury right now. Um, the moon is all about your internal self, your home and family, your nurturing self, how you feel in your comfort zone, the safe spaces you create for yourself. We talked about the moon a little bit earlier today, being in the Dhanishta nakshatra, being in a nakshatra ruled by Mars energy that can bring us aggressiveness, compulsive energy, impulsive energy. So be mindful of that. The moon is sitting over there in Aquarius right now at 22 degrees, pulling us into our revolutionary selves, right? Doing something different in the home, having a new traditions. How about that? How about we do something different? We do something new, you know, that no longer invest in these entities that depend on us, you know, over consuming. This is overconsumption. Y'all be having food that lasts y'all for a whole week. That is the definition of overconsumption. Okay, but there are entities, there's organizations, there's businesses that rely on y'all to overconsume, that rely on y'all to overindulge in this Sagittarius energy in that type of way. And so because they're relying on that, you know, and then they use that money to fund things that you guys don't want funded. So in the space, how about talking about new traditions? You know, if we're gonna be in our Lilith, let's be in our Lilith for real. Stop supporting the shit that does not do well for us. Okay. Um, yeah. The moon is also over there. Fortune, no, not the Fortune. Vertex is also in Aquarius as well as Pluto, but the moon been past Pluto like a few degrees ago. But they're all, you know, still in the same space a little bit. You know, being revolutionary there as well. And so last but certainly not least, we have Saturn. Saturn's hours are 6 a.m., 1 p.m., and then 8 p.m. Saturn deals with the challenges that we experience And we in place in our root chakra. A lot of us are holding on to things in our root chakra as wounds, as hurt, as trauma, and that's not what Saturn brought those in our space for. Saturn brought those things in our space to strengthen us, to give us strength, encouragement. Shouts to my priest that was chatting to me about the goat and how the goat is used as a sin offering, which is something we read about when we were reading the Torah together, right? Um, but it's considered a sin offering, which is where we get that scapegoat, and that's why the goat has been so demonized because we place our sins on the goat. Whatever we do wrong, we project it onto the goat. And so, in that realm of things we hold on to our root chakra, when things go wrong, we place it onto the goat. We don't like Saturn. Saturn is demonic. Saturn is this. We don't like Capricorn. Capricorn is hard. It's da 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 da. But these things are here to strengthen us, to challenge us. It's like when you manifest, when you have that thought, that Aquarius, that Ketters, the first thing you want to do is bring it into fruition. So you got to bring that thought. You got to utilize your wisdom of Chokmah. Okay. I know, based upon my experiences and my wisdom that I've gained from other people, how can I go about making this thought a reality? And then Saturn pulls up and says, okay, well, here's the limitations and the restrictions and the discipline and the order that's required to manifest, to create this on the threes, right? So, like, be a little bit more appreciative of Saturn, bro. Saturn be getting a bad rep for no reason. Saturn is here to assist us in manifesting the things in our space. They try to demonize people that pray to Saturn, but Saturn is their god. But look at how well they manifest things. Jewish people, they some manifestors. You know what I'm saying? I can't hate on that. Everything y'all want, y'all got. Y'all got your sovereignty. Y'all got y'all banks. Y'all got y'all neighborhoods. Y'all keep y'all culture to yourself. Y'all very private people. Y'all got y'all metaphysics and stuff like that. Y'all got y'all unity and stuff like that. And it's being demonized that they go to Saturn. Okay, but look what Saturn doing for them. Who you going to? Okay, and Saturn isn't just outside of self. Saturn is within. Don't get it twisted. We're not praying to things outside of ourselves. This is the planet that's within. And this is the one that they, consistently go to. You know what I'm saying? So you find which one works for you. I like Mercury. Me and Mercury, we get along. I do the most with the Mercury. I got a lot of Virgo and Gemini placements. Um, my sun, moon, Mercury, and Venus is all in Virgo. My Mars and my Vesta is in Gemini. And, this is what I do here. My Pluto is in my third house, my Gemini house. So, me and Mercury, we lay this. That's my June. You know what I'm saying? You find the one that works for you though. You know what I'm saying? Just because that's the one that worked with me, that one might not work for you. I be trying to, attract all my Mercurians unite. You know what I'm saying? So we could do some collective shit. You know what I'm saying? But some of y'all like Mars. You got that overactive solar plexus chakra. Y'all can't wait to spit y'all fire at people and tell people what to do. Y'all the celestial enforcers. Y'all want to enforce everything. And, you have like this, a lot of entities and organizations, they like Mars. So they go for the Mars energy. They do a lot of things under Mars stars, especially the military and stuff like that. They try to keep so-called black people under Mars energy with them Black Tuesdays and stuff like that. I'm not a fan of that because that's keeping us in that Ogun energy and that violent, volatile energy and stuff like that. But that's my personal opinion. I don't like violence. I don't like all of that. That's not what I engage in. I talk my shit, but I talk my shit on some Mercury type shit. I don't talk my shit on Mars. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that debating and arguing. That's not my original. That's not my original homeostatic, space. Like I say, you do what works for you. So that is the Chaldean clock for today. And so I'm gonna give you all y'all reading, and then I will see y'all later on. Y'all can find me on TikTok and meet me and Facebook later because we're gonna read the last chapter of Cosmology and Antiquity, and then I'm gonna let y'all know what we're gonna read next. All right. So the theme for today is dream. We in our poppy seeds. We get lit. I got some shrooms. I might do some shrooms later. We'll see how it goes. But we on our 4-1, our chesed and our knowledge, our culture and our knowledge, bringing us to the 5. I guess the Mars I was talking about, Jabor. But this is Neptune. This is a Neptune, and I really like Neptune and Saturn, which is cool because they're both in Pisces right now. So the ability to build upon and manifest, what you dream, like I just told y'all, you get the idea, you get the dream, and you're like, really, I really want to make this vision. I really want to make this dream or this belief, you know, and this is the dream card, come into fruition. And Saturn is like, yo, I can help you. Let me show you what you need to do. Let me show you the challenges that you're going to face. Let me show you, how strong do you want this dream to be? How stable do you want this dream to be? And I'm going to show you how long it takes. Some of you guys got real, real big dreams, but y'all want the results in a week, in a day, in a month. That's not how it works. Some of them dreams that y'all got going on are so big, it's going to take you a few years. You know what I'm saying? Of consistency, persistence. You got to keep going at it. For some of y'all, the dream y'all got is going to take y'all a lifetime. It's going to take you a lifetime. It might take you 2 lifetimes to get what it is that you're asking for. You got to clear all your karmic debt in this life and then come back in the next life and get it. You don't allow, saying your prayers before you go to bed ain't just about bless this one, bless that one. It's also saying your intentions for when you go to sleep. Like, hey, I know I'm about to go to sleep. So I'm trying to talk to this deity. I'm trying to talk to this ancestor. I'm trying to talk to this spirit guide. I got some questions. I need some answers for X, Y, Z, da 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 da. And then go off to the land of Nod and allow, Capricorn to respond. This is what you need to do to bring this into fruition, right? We have the reverse Knight of Swords. So hopefully by me having this conversation with y'all now know and can upright this sword of, okay, I get it. I get Capricorn now. I get Saturn now. I get that it's on the threes and it's here for me to create. However, there's laws here, right? You have the laws of physics. You got the laws of metaphysics. You got the laws of the land. You got law and order and restriction and limitations that you have to be a knight through to bring those dreams into fruition. So, you got to learn how to do that. I also got a reverse 2 of cups. So there's some sense of imbalance here and emotionally with getting these things in order as well. So be mindful of that too. Guys aren't utilizing your intellect. And because you aren't utilizing your intellect, the emotional intellect ain't there either. So we really want to work on that today. Especially because today's a day of mastery. Today is a day of self-mastery. So let's work on uprighting the swords and this 2 of cups, right? What parts of self can we focus on to help us? Well, you're going to focus on your 8 of swords, empowering yourself with your intellect. We got Jupiter and Gemini associated with the 8 of swords. So Jupiter is bringing that expansion, that joy, that wisdom, that chokma, that abundance, that completion and wholeness. And Gemini, our intellect, our sense of duality, our problem solving skills. The Sephiroth that is highlighted here is hot, splendor. That's Mercury energy. But that's our celestial technician. That's compartmentalizing and organizing. Work on your weekly schedule. Work on your daily schedule. The things that need to come into order. Soulmate, we need to work on our root chakra here too. And our connectivity with the souls that we've become into connection with in our root chakra and how they reflect ourselves here. All right. So work on your root chakra to help you as well to bring these 2 things upright. That comes back to that whole monologue I just had about Capricorn, because Capricorn Saturn energy rule over the root chakra. So I ain't gonna repeat myself. And then a spiritual divination card, achievement. That's what we want in the end, right? We want to bring this dream into an achievement, but we have to go through all of these cards in order to do that, okay? We have to learn how to utilize our intellect. We have to learn how to align our emotions with our intellect, because our emotions is what creates that electromagnetic field that gravitates things into our space. When you got a stinky attitude, don't you attract crazy shit? Now you drop something, you got a black hole around you, keep losing the keys, you done stubbed your toe, people giving you a stink face, people giving you an attitude. Now you wondering, like, how y'all gonna give me an attitude for having an attitude? Now I'm not allowed to have an attitude. Well, you gotta be mindful. You got an electromagnetic field, baby. And some of y'all electromagnetic fields are very, very addictive. Some of them are very, very contagious. Y'all know y'all big energies. So thinking you can go in a room and be angry and be the only one angry is crazy work. And just know, and also knowing when you go in a room happy and you're the only one that's gonna be happy is also crazy work. You know how big your energy is. So, be mindful of that when you're in this reverse 2 of cups, having this issue. And when you're in this reverse, you're not using your intellect in the midst of this issue, And then I know some of you guys are tired of building on things like, when is my fruit going to come? When is my fruit going to come? Well, baby, let me tell you, like, some of y'all don't want little baby plants. Y'all not asking for little house plants. Some of y'all is asking for like big thick ass apple trees and palm trees and them big, Jones that be growing in Florida, Georgia area. Like, you know how long it takes for that tree to sprout through the soil? You know how strong those roots have to be? You know how many years it takes for that tree to finally grow fruit? And that's gonna be the best fruit you ever had. So you gotta have patience with the process. Utilize that emotional intellect. Know that the things that you're going for is big. And if you need some instant gratification to make you feel good along the way, plant some little baby plants along the way. Just to make sure you still got that juice. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I gotta plant a little shallow flower here and there just to let me know, like, oh, okay, it's cool, because you don't want to keep digging up that seed for that big plant. You keep digging it up, you're gonna kill that shit. You gotta start over again. So don't keep digging it up because you don't trust what's going on in the darkness in the soil, especially as we make our way closer and closer to the solstice where it's gonna be darker and darker for longer. You know what I'm saying? Don't keep digging that up. All right. And then I like that achievement is on a 2 and 9, bringing us to that wisdom of our completion and wholeness, but also bringing us to that space of mastery. And aren't we on the day of mastery right now? Yeah, so it's a nice full circle story. That's what I got for y'all. I appreciate everybody tapping in, everybody saying hello, tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you would like a personal reading, I do specialize in, your personal numbers and gematria. I also specialize in aligning your personal astrological placements into your chakras, your sephiros, and netarus. You're more than welcome to reach out. I have a whole plethora of things. I do free consultations to start you off to see, how my services can fit your needs, and we go from there. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Y'all have a happy Thursday and enjoy the Fibonacci experience that you guys are gonna have later on today. Sitting in a circle around a square, right? I love y'all so much. Peace, peace, everybody. Happy Thursday.